Hello, friends. It is I, once again, host Eric, host of Talking with Fence People. And I'm here to live stream like I've never live streamed before. I'm here to pour every ounce, milliliter, centimeter, inch, foot, yard, mile, and joule of energy I have into this. That's right. I'm going to live stream hard today. I'm going to live stream like the warrior I am. It's going to be non-stop insight, non-stop laughter, non-stop crying, non-stop anger, non-stop conciliation, non-stop hellos. Hellos in black. Hope it's a good day. One never knows. One never knows until one lives it. You gotta live the day to know it. Alright? Experiential knowing. The only kind of acceptable knowing. Today, everything's going to be extreme on this live stream. This is an extreme live stream. I think it's fair to say it's the ultimate in extreme live streams. So if you're tired of tepid and ordinary live streams, welcome to the ultimate in extreme live streaming. Well, that's about all I got. Manifestation. So I'll tell you something. Rachel is not into manifestation. She doesn't like the idea of positive thinking, manifesting the reality, and so forth, because, of course, she's an N-item, which means she sees those truths as external, basically, and you can only create reality so much. You got to deal with the reality that actually is. I tend to be a little bit more in the manifesting camp, but I see it as much more complex than just what often is being recommended in terms of positivity and manifestation. See, here's the thing. There's a couple of different ways that one can understand one's directive in life. You know, either you can see it as basically the application of your will, which is the manifestation camp, or you can see it as an attainment of your destiny, which is a different sort of understanding of things. To externalize what one ought to do is to engage in what I think comprises the proper application of faith-based behaviors. In other words, manifestation involves realizing one's own will to too great of an extent. I'm not a big believer in the will to power, so to speak. I'm rather more inclined towards, it's like people of faith tend to, or at least, okay, put it this way. In Alcoholics Anonymous, the notion that they try to present is that one turn one's will and one's life over to God, right? Now, there's a limited extent to which that's a meaningful indication. Obviously, one has to engage willfully with the world, and to know one's own will is paramount, is a critical component in self-optimization. So it's somewhat reductive way of going about explaining, I guess, normative indications. But nevertheless, the core of that notion runs afoul of the idea of manifestation. Except insofar as manifestation is subsumed by the core of that notion. And I think generally they run exclusive of each other to some extent. So the thing is, when you have clarity about what you ought to do, it's then things become the applications of the will or understandings of the will, framings of the will, it becomes clear what their purpose is, so to speak. Whereas if you don't have the frame established as to what subsumes what, then people can be easily enough carried away with their own particular misconceptions of things to the detriment of the self and the optimization thereof. So take care of business when it's within your power to do so. Try to ride out a sugar off the breast. Taking care of business when it's in your power to do so is a good idea in general. I always feel as though I'm given a certain amount of slack and not more by the universe. That ultimately I have a little bit of wiggle room, but I seem to be having less wiggle room the older I get because I understand better. It's like life's been very kind. When I make mistakes, when I've got the wrong idea, it doesn't tend to, it gives me warnings, And even when I ignore those warnings, I get nailed in some fashion by life. Even then, it's like a warning nailed. It's not a real nailed. It's, well, you're gonna get out of this one. You can see how it would be if it were a real nail there now. So you better watch yourself. That kind of shit, Life's been life is on easy mode for me in that regard. It's I've got a lot of bumpers in my bowling alley. The universe definitely owes me nothing, but it's been good to me anyway. It's like it saves my ass, when I make mistakes, when I consider wrong choices and stuff, it affords me the time, or it's crazy the way the universe works. It seems like the timing of things and the way that the various narrative arcs play out, it seems very conceivable that one would have things wrap up so tightly and neatly, and the narrative lines come together so well when I listen to the universe. And it's like in basketball. You got to take what the game gives you. You can't try to force it. Same thing with life. Same thing with the universe. See? See what I'm talking about? Like, why? Yeah. One of the problems of being ignoring is I can tend to ignore when the universe is talking to me. The world is perfect pink. Let's all be good. ENTP statement. I mean, it's a statement that I would tend to try to get behind. Not that the world is perfect pink, but it's, I mean, it's definitely a golden age, you know? Being any attending is also not a very good thing. It makes you irrational. You still put no. Oh, being NI attending is not very, makes you irrational. I wouldn't call NI an irrational function. I'd call it a knowledge function. You know, it's the more rational of the two knowledge functions. All right, now listen, you guys. I'm going to do something that I would not recommend you do at home. All right, I do not recommend I do it at home. I'm going to do it anyway. Namely, I'm going to smoke in the house. Yes, smoking in the house. You really shouldn't smoke in the house. Why not? Because it makes everything stink like cigarettes. Well, why are you going to do it, Eric? Well, I'm going to play this game called But If I then it might be kind of okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up this door. I'm going to close this door. I'm going to leave that fan on. And now it'll blow all of the smoke in theory out the door. That's my theory. Okay. Aggravation? Yeah, it's definitely not how you spell aggravation. There's two G's. The one thing is that that colloquial understanding of the word aggravation has become an acceptable definition of it, but it's not aggravate is not supposed to mean that, you know. To aggravate something means to make a negative situation more negative. In other words, to increase some bad vector, you know. But my mom always used it like that too. You're aggravating me. And, that's an aggravation. NI is negative to begin with. I don't think it's either negative or positive. It's the underlying attentional channel that creates or allows us or manifests or whatever you want to say, shape constancy. Which means basically identity. Like this cigarette, no matter which direction you look at it from, it's still a cigarette. If you look at it from just like right there, it might be hard to tell what it is even. But with a little bit of angling, you can tell what it is. And you can tell whether it's like that or like this or like this or like that or whatever. That's shape constancy. It means basically you get the concept. This thing is a thing with an identity distinct, despite the fact that your perception of it is constantly changing. So those are the roots of NI. That's the root of it. It's like shape processing. It's NI is the conceptual framework of identity. SI is the conceptual framework of experience. And SE is the conceptual framework of impact. Bye, Genkin, Krishna Sarmapagu. We'll miss you. See you soon. Don't forget to eat plenty of India cheese. So, you learn a lot about NI when you pay attention to NI polar. My dad, it was the 6 months anniversary of the identity theft attempt that he got hit with in the summer. And he was very concerned irrationally about, it happening again, even though we've got it all locked down. And he wanted me to explain to him again sort of how it had happened and everything. And it's very complicated. I got a little frustrated in trying to explain it to him. It doesn't really, to me, the point is we've got it locked down. And you just need to accept that it's locked down. And as long as you don't do meow and meow, we're fine. But he wants to understand it better than that, which I get, but he doesn't really understand it very well. And a lot of components of the thing that I don't know. It's like, well, it wasn't this or that. It could have been this, or this, or something else that I don't know. And those kind of answers are not satisfying to him. But that just, it's the complexity of the NETI equation, or TE perhaps, but it's like you can see how the TI ignoring and NI polar play out on my dad, because he doesn't get what's irrelevant here, what's determinant. One way you could put out your cigarette, you see. You've been awake since 1 p.m. on Sunday. Why? Are you participating in this telephone? I missed. Again. I think one of your kids has a hard time with NI. Well, actually, there's a meme on NTPs. Well, actually, it is definitely a meme of NTPs. I didn't know it was a meme, but it's definitely an NTP thing. Although it can actually be an STP thing too. I remember when Delilah was a little girl and she started saying that. Very, very little. Well, actually, the pedant's way. The pedantry of TI. Are you moving or what? Word. That explains the inability to sleep. Moving's a traumatic experience. Well, Zaylen, you know what that means? It means you deserve a tarot card. Yep. You just earned yourself a tarot card, Zaylen. I don't like vaporizers. 3 of Cups. Now, granted, it was upside down. So, upside down, 3 of Cups. I don't really know that much about Joe Rogan, Fussology. I haven't watched him, really. Listen, after today, after tomorrow, you're going to see a lot more of my dad because we're putting my mom in the home tomorrow. And that'll afford me an opportunity to interact with him in ways that are less mom-focused. Valerie Clark, do you believe type change is possible post significant situational life alteration? No. Look, when there's been a substantial trauma, I do believe that a person displays as though they were their dual. So, because the 4th function is a relief function, and it's a function that you under attend to, when you feel as though your ways have failed you, in other words, you've been traumatized in some fashion, which usually means there's been some surprise involved. Without a surprise, there's no trauma, really, usually. Now, what that means is when people are Julian and Henry, you've made it clear to me on a number of occasions that you disagree with just about everything I say, that you don't respect my saying it at all, that my central claims don't withstand your scrutiny, whatever methodology you're using to scrutinize them, I do not know. So why do you keep spending time here if you don't like it so much? If you have so much contempt for what I'm saying, so little respect for it, and so much disagreement with everything that comes out of my mouth, then why in the world would you put yourself through the ordeal of spending all your time here? I don't know either. So anyway, Valerie Clark, I do believe that one behaves as one's dual for a stretch of time after significant trauma. A sudden death, somebody who's left you abruptly, the end of a relationship, things where your familiarities get disrupted fundamentally. Your baseline assumptions get disrupted. So it's like those kind of traumas cause one to retreat to one's 4th function a lot, and one manifests like one's dual. However, it's not the case that one's type has changed. It is, in fact, the case that one is an ENTP. One is an ENTP who's experienced trauma and thus is retreated to the 4th function. It doesn't turn you into a different type. Julian Henry, listen, I've been dealing with people like you for years. Believe me when I tell you, You do not have the capacity to hurt my feelings. Sorry, you just don't. Okay, well, if you're growing up in a turbulent home, what that means is you don't have good predictability. In other words, it's difficult for you to manage to, by the application itself, to diminish the gap between expectations and reality, which is the prime directive phenomenon. So it's like an abusive home or a turbulent home or whatever people grow up in. What that means is that you learn that you can't really, with application of the self, by being, you can't meaningfully predict things. There's no modality for you to meaningfully predict because things don't make sense. You know, you get punished for things that you didn't do, or you're forced into a modality that's uncomfortable for you continually. Like, you know, Rachel being an INFJ with TE polar being in the home of an ESTJ, it's rather torturous because there's a constant need to try to frame things in terms of interest and utility and rewards and punishment. And it just does not work on a TE polar person at all. They don't want to be treated in terms of rewards and punishment at all. Sorry, I'll listen to only to people who I agree with 100%. I'm not asking you to do that. You're not trying to what? Hurt my feelings? Okay, well, you said I was butthurt. So do we agree you were incorrect about that? Or what? I'm not saying you should agree with me about everything. I'm saying you're not actually engaging with any ideas. You're just being negationary, and you're being negationary in a way that's ineffective. You're not making good arguments. You're not convincing at all. You're just throwing out random negationary claims that are unsubstantiated and illogical. I mean, that's just the reality of it. The point is, Joel Nathan Henry, you claimed that I was butt hurt. Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily wanted to hurt my feelings, but it does suggest that you think you did. Right? See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about, Joel Nathan Henry. It don't make sense. NTPs often come across as butthurt when they are not just argumentative. Yeah, I'm not butthurt, Joel Nathan Henry. For God's sakes. As if. Here's a card for you, Joel Nathan Henry. The Sun. Congratulations. Well, what are you trying to do then, Joel Nathan Henry? Just spew random words? Just provoke some sort of response from me, I guess? I mean, that's really the question, right? What are you trying to do? Just express a bunch of contrary stuff? Just because? Thanks, Matthew. Here's a card for you. What's this one? Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Let me look it up on the old Charteroo, Matthew. Five of Pentacles. Eric's Tarot Guide. 5 of Pence. Take the time to review what is happening in your life and what you want. Don't be afraid. Listen to your higher self and open the gate of opportunity. Julian Henry, did I ever ask you to stop doing anything? Tell you to stop doing anything? I asked you a question. Why are you here doing this? You know? Probably Ron Solo. Probably you could. I mean, the thing is, I try to Eminem ahead of anything that anybody could possibly say against me. You know? And if you do that, then it's not off topic, Danny. I'll get to it in a second. If you do that, you spike shit out successfully, you're in pretty good shape. You know? It's like, it's possible, I guess, but you'd end up hurting yourself more than me. You know? I'm too aware of the tactics regarding this shit. The only person who really hurt my feelings is Rachel. That's the power I afford my significant other. I guess Delilah could hurt my feelings. My dad can hurt my feelings sometimes. But yeah, it's good if you get out in front of all your insecurities. Like, make them a topic of discussion. Because there's, then you disempower anybody who might try to use it against you. Like I said, it's possible around Solo, but if you were to successfully do it, you'd end up hurting yourself more than you hurt me. And the reason is because there's a normative frame. There's not just strategy and tactics here. There's a basic normative frame. I genuinely am a good person, and so to the extent that you would be hurting my feelings, you'd be attacking something that doesn't deserve to be attacked. It's, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi in the is that Empire, or is it I think it's Empire Strikes Back, or might be the end of Star Wars. I don't know. So it's a complicated thing. FE only goes so far before you get into TI and FI, and then it's like if people want to kamikaze the fuck out of themselves on me, then go ahead. But it's ultimately not going to go. Joel Nathan Henry, again, I didn't say you were trying to hurt my feelings, but you obviously thought that you did, so I thought I'd correct that, okay? If that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. Well, sure, and that's the thing. Walking a narrow path protects you from a lot of bullshit. Most things that people can be attacked on, they can be attacked on because they're things that they want kept secret. When you're as transparent as me, it gives you an affirmative defense that's pretty powerful. It's like, okay, so which of the things that I'm being transparent about do you want to try to turn against me? And the thing is, I sat here and endured many hours of that from the spite monkeys before I finally blocked their asses, All of the attacks, they end up making me look good because I go, well, actually, on that issue here's the truth of it, and yeah. So, yeah. What does fifth slot FE look like? Fifth slot FE, you're talking about your INFPs, your ISFPs. It's being aware of your feelings, but and caring a lot about, like, look, FI DOMs, they put themselves in other people's shoes automatically. They understand how they would feel if somebody said meow to them. Um, An FE Dom, in contrast, is considering, instead of the other person's feelings, the other person's thoughts, basically. Now, it's called extroverted feeling, but you could say, or the other person's perceptual frame, the other person's impressions. It's like, you know, if you want to be perceived well by the other person, you need to have good FE in general. There are certain types that'll perceive you well regardless of your FE. Like, for me, people will generally perceive me well if they are not, okay, well, like your NTPs and your NFJs will generally perceive me pretty well, provided they don't feel competitively envious in some fashion, which is something I can totally understand. Fate Wind, again, we've discussed this. The fact that one can distinguish between ENTPs and establish perhaps that there are variants of ENTPs does not mean that there's a subtype that stems from cognitive functions. Okay, so you might say I'm the same Enneagram type ENTP as George Carlin or something like that. That would be fine. That would make sense. That follows. That doesn't create logical contradictions. Anyway. I mean, I guess, okay, so I want to go on to Zaylen Black's point here. It's an interesting one. Am I genuinely confused about why he would be here? No, that was more of an FE attack, I guess. That was just FE argumentation mostly. Is the correct answer to that? I don't know, now that you mention it. I'm so bipolar, it never really occurred to me to actually consider his genuine motivations. I just made the attacks, you know. I just did the bow. I don't understand. No, I mean, I really don't, now that you mention it. I don't know why he would be here if he doesn't like it so much. I guess he gets some sort of satisfaction from getting the enemy. I understand that. Satisfaction in getting the enemy makes sense. Also, Fate Wind, I gotta say, I do not feel like the same subtype of ENTP. If I were to agree on subtypes at all, I still wouldn't agree that I'm the same as George Carlin. I don't like him. I find him not very well optimized. Hi, Bacon. I found you. So what's the difference between INFP and ISFP when looking at their way of getting validation? Okay, well, so INFP and ISFP, let me answer your question finally. The fifth slot FE, one thing I can tell you about it for sure is that it means you validate the external world on its FE. So if I'm inconsiderate, then you'll judge me harshly. If I consistently have bad FE and don't appear to consider other people's feelings, then you will judge me harshly. Now, note that FE is really appearing to consider other people's feelings. It's really more like considering other people's perceptions and the impact on the larger social dynamics that FE does. Now, it doesn't mean FE people don't actually care about feelings, don't have good relationships with FI in their own way. Seeing like an INFJ or an ISFJ, they have demonstrative FI, which means they're demonstrating a attention to the other person's feelings, but they don't like to. They'd rather not consider those things. And when they don't have to, they don't. Fate Wind, I have. I don't find him funny. I find him annoying. Now, maybe that's because we're the same subtype. But even if we are the same subtype, again, that's not a variant within cognitive functions. That's an improper categorization error. It's like saying that left-handedness is a subtype of male. No, it's not. It is true that some males are left-handed, but it is not a subtype of male. Do you understand? I lack SE, that's why I can't see it. It's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard in my life. I find him angry. You know? I find him angry. And over the top and practiced and awful. And sanctimonious and just no. Zaylen Black, you wasted time chatting with your family? God, what are you thinking? You missed 5 minutes of pure gold to chat with your fucking family? God, what is wrong with you? God, April. Your lack of cynicism disturbs me sometimes. Yeah, I'm not cynical at all. I really am not cynical. I'm the opposite of cynical. I don't know what the opposite of cynical is. But I am definitely the opposite of cynical. I mean, the thing is, that might be true of some people. Definitely not him. Occasionally, I think like, wow, that's Paris Hilton style hot. You know how she used to say hot? It's hot. Fate Wind, it's like if you really want to insult me, do that. Go ahead and say that because of my habit that I'm doing, whether it be smoking cigarettes or smoking weed, that you can ignore everything I'm saying. That all of a sudden my position doesn't matter anymore. Oh, never mind. Fate Wind's on her menstrual cycle. We can just ignore her. The same sort of fucking logic. It's obscene. It's appalling. You should be ashamed of yourself. Does it somehow seem to you that smoking weed incapacitates me, makes me stupid, unable to understand and respond to what you're saying, or otherwise inadequate to be a conversation partner? You've got to be fucking kidding me. I don't think Paris Hilton was hot. I think she used to say, "That's hot," a lot. She was very fond of saying, "That's hot." It was her saying. No, I mean, look, It really depends on my mood and everything. Oh my God, Cloud. Is that really true that she says she called me countless times for a typing session and I refused? I mean, that's just an outright lie. Um, she never called me to tell her to type her. She never wanted me to type her. I don't ever recall ever speaking to her on the phone at all. Um, the email I remember is the last email where she said in that email that she wanted me to take down this video, and she'd asked me many times before. I assumed that she was telling the truth, that she'd asked me many times before, because probably I had just missed an email or something. I don't know. I just took it down, but maybe she was just making that up. Maybe it was the first time she asked me. I don't know. I don't know who this chick is. Why do I want to, Cloud? What do I care? What music? What music are you having to listen to that you want to get over with? Right, so why would I bother to want to type her? She's just going to try to pretend to be an INTJ or whatever and get mad when I don't try to tell her she's not, or fuck that noise. Why am I bothering? You know, I don't I don't enjoy doing things that I don't enjoy doing. That's sort of definitionally the case, right? So I like doing typing sometimes. I haven't checked my email in a long ass time. No, I just haven't even bothered. I don't even want to check it. I don't want to see what people are saying to me. I'm I'm not feeling very productive right now. I don't know. I don't know if Paris, what type Paris Hilton is. I have no idea. The most ENGP thing to do is censor someone because Eric. Okay, so Fate Wind, you and I are not going to make love. I have a girlfriend. Um, I'm so bad about neglecting him. Like, I'm terrible about it. I was just like, eh, eh, eh. Cloud, you can't de-delusion someone. If it's really delusional, then you can't do anything about it. You can't explain away her delusions because it's delusional. If it's just more regular style wrongness, then humanity, man, you know. Basically, you have this mesh of notes that slowly turns into a D sharp. Huh. That sounds unpleasant. I'm not sure. All right, so here's what I'm going to do now. I don't know. Maybe you're going to call me crazy. That'll be fine. Go ahead. Call me crazy if you want. But I'm going to put this over here, like that. And then I'm going to stand over there and smoke a cigarette. Oh, yeah. What? There's a little something they call patio living at its finest. If you love patio living, you're going to love this live stream. Because I'm live streaming patio living at its finest. Yep. Patio von Schmatio, they call it. You know, I do get a lot of combative people in here. Hey, Theo Sorbinos left a bullshit comment on a video yesterday, and I slammed the fuck out of him in the comments. And I note that he's not here. You know, it's like, why? Why do people come here with such combative, like, I'm just here to do battle all the time. And I'm here to express contempt and dismay at your rightness there. You look like you need a non-alcoholic Heineken. Jeebus, you're not combative. You're trolling. That's different. Are you going to type some celebs? The thing is, I would not be opposed to that. I need to... I'm worried about copyright stuff, basically. It's like, I don't know what kind of shit I can take excerpts of to type from, and to do it without watching it seems kind of silly, you know? So that's one of my problems with that. I feel a certain heavy meow about me right now. Not really sure why. I feel weary in a way, but not really. I feel kind of unsettled, I guess, something like that. Disrupted in some fashion. I feel kind of like Warren G had to regulate me. Believe me, you don't want that. You don't want Warren G and Nate Dogg to have to regulate. When that happens, you're in trouble, okay? Has anybody here ever had to have Warren G regulate them? Seattle smells like pee. Is that the new slogan for announced by the Chamber of Commerce? Yay! Seattle smells like pee. And what I said was, has anybody else ever had to have Warren G and Nate Dogg regulate them? I'm as ready as I'm gonna get, Jeebus. I'm as ready as I'm gonna get. So go ahead and hit me with it. I have 4 puppies if anyone's interested. My husband says he's going to stop coming home if I don't give them away. I'm not in the market for a dog right now. In fact, I'm currently worrying about my cat in the sense that I'm not sure what's going to happen if I implement, when I implement my plan. Okay, bye, Jeebus. See you soon. Oh. Bye. Well, I will miss Jeebus for the several days that he's gone. But he'll be back, I'm sure. This is a twist tie. Get healthy. That's such a passive aggressive statement. Get healthy. You know, it's like I'm going to presume in my well wishing that there's something wrong with you that you need to address. Twist ties are okay. I don't think so. No, I don't think he uses Chloe. Well, man, don't be mean. Jeebus, I understand. You'd like a dramatic exit, but you're welcome back. We won't even tease you when you come back. So, anywho, the things I have to experience around here are crazy. Have a good day. Go for a long walk. I'm out. I got a busy day today. I've got Cameron's coming over at 11, and we got to go cut the lock off the storage place. So they still haven't fucking done it. And then I got to get the mattresses out. I got to pack up some shit in the car, and we got to go finish the install of my mom's new place. And that's what I had to say about all that. You know, it's not going to be a fun day per se. That's for Shizzo. But it won't be terrible. It won't be terrible. Valerie Clark, I have plans to integrate my dad as much as possible into a lot of these live streams and videos. I would like to interview him and just generally include him in the channel more. I'd like to make some more videos with him. You know, we'll see what happens. It's and that's one of the things that I guess is weighing on me somewhat is the reality. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out when my mom goes into this place. I'm not sure what the relationship between me and my dad is going to end up looking like. I'm not sure how things are going to develop. I just don't know. I don't have a lot of plans because my dad doesn't he doesn't really go for my plans, you know. Like I suggested that we go to Reno since we had the fucking place anyway, you know. And he just nixed the idea. He's just like, nah, too much of a drive. No. So I'm gonna try to do things like I always do, just kind of play it responsive, play it reactive, play it by ear. It's just how I resolve. I wonder, is that Pete? Oh, the peacocks are up back. Yeah. It should be, you know, it's, well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm already quite responsive or try to be to the things that he likes to do and try to include them as much as possible in my calculi. It's an ongoing process for me. I wouldn't say it's a painful dynamic. It can be challenging sometimes, but you know, it's like I grew up with dad, and he's a good guy. He's an STJ, but not an asshole. He's an STJ 8. You know, look, I just going to show you. Being an ESTJ 8 does not mean you're some sort of bad or abusive parent or anything like that, you know? Yeah, we do. We do have an open and honest dialogue as much as we can, you know, given the differences in nature and such. Does he know himself? No. that's one of the things. But I don't think he ever really will or can be an NI polar. He knows him. He knows his experiences. He knows about his resources. He knows about his experiences. He knows about goal attainment. He knows about utility frames. He doesn't know about himself in any meaningful NI sense of the word. Um, um, I mean, the thing to remember, everybody here, about my dad, and it's important to remember this. Um, he's been doing exactly what he wants, traveling to all places he likes, and being captain of his ship here for decades now. And it's like he and mom spent the last couple of decades on basically a series of endless vacations. He's got multiple timeshares and stuff like that. So you don't feel too bad for my dad. Okay, now, the last couple of years things have devolved, and what's helped a lot, Zaylen Black, is the re-immersion of myself, and to a much lesser extent, but still increased from what it maybe was, Delilah, into the family affairs here and such. He does need a crew, and you know, I'm a willing and I'm a crew with the right attitude. Am I always going to be a great crewman? No, but I've got basically the right attitude, which is, I'm here to be a good follower as best I can. I'm not here to lead. And even though his leadership style is not always conducive to working with me, if he weren't my father, there'd be serious problems for sure. But he is my father, so we have a special relationship. We've always been as close as you can get to an ESTJ 8 if you're an ENTP. He loves me. I love him too. And I want to do the best for him I can. So, it's just something that's going to have to play out. Nowheres, one thing that sometimes is frustrating about them, whether they're nowheres in the dominant or nowheres in the tool function, is sometimes they want so badly to know ahead of time. And there's a lot of things in life that you just can't know ahead of time. You gotta let them play out. Oh, I'm not forgetting about my own life. Eric taking care of himself isn't really something that you gotta worry about. I'm not lacking in self-indulgence. I like to do what I like to do, and I do what I like to do. I'm not afraid to earn what I gotta do. I've earned my keep here for sure. Mostly because of the being on call aspect. My dad, he's 8 wing 7. Yeah, he's 8 wing 7. Ron, I think if Ron's answering your question, he's right. 8 wing 7. And it's a weird You know, 7 in ESTJ is so material. It's so practical. It's like, um, there's no SI frame. He likes good meals. He likes trips. He likes being fancy, etc. But you know, he's got that 8's quality of always looking for something potentially to be mad about. Although he's had things go so smoothly for him for such a long time that that he's fairly chilled on his 8. You know, so by Ghost Rider, let's get you plenty of cheese. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out, you know? Yeah, I think, well, I mean, sort of. Don't piss him off. Oof. Believe me, don't piss him off. It's like, I pissed him off around Thanksgiving. And there was no edge gone, you know? But he's extremely fair. I gotta fuck up, you know, to piss him off. And what comprises fucking up, as far as he's concerned, is clearly articulated. You know, I understand what it is. I can easily enough avoid it, and it's fair. It's not an unreasonable expectation. So, I'm not an 8 ENTP. I'm a 7. My dad's an 8 ESTJ. Right. He's easy to satisfy as long as, you know, don't surprise him. He don't like surprises. Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it was always scary, but it's always more bark than bite with my dad. He doesn't want to use leverage or force, but he will. No, my dad's an 8 wing 7. Now, I'm not a big wing believer in general. I'm of the mindset that tri-types are a better way of distinguishing that than wings. But if you want to use the wing notion, you'd say he's 8 wing 7. It's taxonomical, remember, it's not really a model, so it's fine to, you know. Who were I closer to? I was closer to my mom, for sure. All during my upbringing. My mom was the loving one, you know. Consider that my dad was loving in his own way, but yeah, my mom and I had a weirdly tight dual bond. She's an ISFJ, I'm an EHP, and we just loved sitting down and chatting with each other and stuff like that. I always liked listening to my mom and her English teacher friends talking. She validated the hell out of me, you know, like lots of affirmation, lots of positive regard. Whereas my dad provided this strict frame of no bullshit, though. So it was kind of an ideal upbringing for an HP. Gave me a little bit more discipline than maybe a lot of HPs would have. Although I was also fairly in life, you know, I've not been very disciplined. So I don't know, maybe that's wrong. So the thing to remember, of course, is cognitive functions don't fundamentally dominate or other things like that, other people. They don't have that kind of social angle to them. Individual people may express them by those social angles for a variety of reasons, but they don't. That's not inherent to cognitive functions at all. A function is a channel of attention. It does not inherently have things like the urge to dominate or be subjected by other people. That's not part of cognitive functions. That's a mistake that socionics makes. Like when it says, "Well, SE is forceful." No, SE is not forceful. It just plays out like that most of the time because it's about doing shit, and doing shit is the best way to actually leverage people. So it's a mistake to attribute to a cognitive function what is actually sort of a phenomenon of human political dynamics as it plays out by the cognitive function, and it causes us to make all sorts of mistakes when we treat things as metaphors rather than what they actually are. So it's important to be able to make the distinction between what's a cognitive function, does not include things like that, okay, and what's not a cognitive function. Yeah, he's wrong. Damon Chad is an ENTJ or an ESTJ, probably the former, not the latter. Almost certainly an ENTJ. He might think he's an ESTP because, yeah, some dumbass socionics description of SE as forcefulness, conqueriness, and stuff. It's not. It's an impact-focused frame, and that plays out like that, but it's not implicit to SE. It often plays out like that. It doesn't always play out like that at all. So, what do you think of a dynamic of an INTP mother and an INTP son might look like long-term? Trouble versus benefits. Well, I mean, I would expect it to play out great because what the mother is going to intuitively expect the child to need and expect is the same thing that the mother herself would expect herself to need and expect, and that'll be accurate. So I think it would play out great long term. I mean, it'd be very easy to communicate with each other. SE has an awareness of its environment, seeking to act in the immediate context, but TE tries to organize its environment according to logical parameters. I wouldn't disagree with that necessarily, Ethan McDonald. I would say that when one is attending by extroverted thinking, one is seeking to attain ordinality, to reduce things to a series of steps that go one after another, That's the kind of logical parameter that specifically the TE is trying to utilize. They might yell more than other types in general. It's certainly plausible. I'm IHP and I spent my first 12 years with my uneducated ISFP father and my depressed INFJ mother. I feel like all of my strengths were always undervalued and my weaknesses were under a microscope. Well, they would be undervalued because the third slide TI is your INFJ mother doesn't actually value your TI, they only value their own TI. Just like I don't really value other people's FE, I value my own FE. In other words, I appreciate FE directed at me. I don't really direct it at a lot of other people. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, my soul. Did you try eating more cheese? That probably would have helped. Nicolay Che, I mean, hindsight's 2020, obviously. Nicolay Che, hey, Nicolay Che, is my response to your hey. I would say SE is forceful because people using it realize that it's effective in solving problems. Well, it depends where the SE is in the stack, of course. So, um, if it's dominant, there's a clarity about when not to use SE and when to use it usually. But it's serving the self ultimately. So, from another person's perspective, it may seem like it's used excessively. Uh, if it's in a tool function capacity, then it's going to be overused. And the ultimate example of SE and how it works is Trump. Is Trump forceful? Well, Trump's impactful. He kicks the anthill. He kicks the anthill, and the ants scramble around to try to do something about it. As soon as they get organized to do something about it, he kicks the anthill again. And now they're scrambling around about the other kick. And as soon as everybody gets organized to do something about it, he kicks the anthill again. That's not forceful exactly. It's impactful. And it's recognizing the fact that in every instance of significant enough impact applied correctly, it disrupts the framing that's ongoing and causes everybody to have to reframe again. So that's how SE plays out as impactful, but not exactly forceful. So you'll notice Trump isn't forcing everybody to do things. He's forcing everybody to react. He doesn't have the directionality that TE has. He has the playing out of chaos successfully. In other words, NE is novelty, but SE is change. And the difference is change forces a new framing every time you change substantially enough. Whereas, ideation, creation, more words, that's contributing to the metaphysical aspect of it. Changing the physical reality forces you to get out a new page of the map or start making a new map or whatever. So yeah, the third slide is very selfish. Like my dad likes to talk, doesn't like to listen. That's any third. I'm not absolutely sure if Trump's ESP or ESFP. I would say probably ESTP because he seems to have that selfish third slot FE going on, right? That he doesn't care at all about how other people look. He's willing to trash the hell out of other people. He only cares that he looks good, and he only likes people who say nice things about him and stuff. And so that's very third slot FE. I don't think he's a particularly bright ESTP because I think he's kind of a master of SE. So he's never had to be especially bright. And but he certainly is effective, depending on what he wants to do. Third slot TI wants things to be fair for you. It doesn't really care that much if things are fair for the other person. It doesn't really value fairness as a value, except when it's violated, when you feel like it's been violated. If you feel like you're treated unfairly, then, oh, fuck no. But if you're treating the other person unfairly, well, it's okay. If you were to sort of just sum it up in a nutshell, NE third is I like to talk, I don't like to listen. TI third is shit better be fair for me. TE third is I'm the one who determines the order of operations around here. Okay. NI third is Ni third is like, no. My singular truth. Se third is, hey, I won the marathon. You know, it's like, it's, there's only going to be one winner. It's going to be me. That kind of shit, you know, where I'm going to do it. And then Si third is like, my comfort, my memories, my story. Fe third is like, I don't praise you, you praise me. Fi third is too awesome to even make fun of. It's like Fi third is, I care about you and show you in ways that indicate clearly that I don't actually care if you even acknowledge it. I'm actually caring about you. Fi third is the only one that I can't even begin to make fun of. It's like ISTJ Cameron. He's so helpful, you know. Here comes Dad. Okay, I'm headed down to. Okay, I'll go inside right now. My laptop there. Okay. All right, everybody, get ready for rumbling. Here we go. You're gonna have to move. You can't stand where you're standing right now. You're in the way. You can't stand there. You have to move. Come on, get up. Let's go. Yeah, we have to go. No, you can't stay here any longer. Come on, let's go. Everybody has to move. Cloud, that includes you. Stop sitting on your ass. Get up. Let's go. We got to go inside. Come on. Hi, Mama. How you doing? Which dairy product are you made out of today, Mom? Is it cheese? Key third's like, you know, no, I'll tell you who does what, where, and when. Don't nobody tell me order of operations. Let's see. That's a bright sunlight. Goku. Luffy and Naruto are ENFP. Okay. Yeah, SI third. It's basically like, hey, you wanna go out and go karaoke? I just made a cup of coffee. You know, I just made one. It's hot. It's delicious. If I go karaoke, I'm not gonna go sit here and drink it while playing Overwatch. I'm gonna have to stay in tonight. You know, I just made this cup. that's SI third. You want to go hiking? You know, how long is it? Because I don't want my calves to be sore tomorrow. That's gonna be uncomfortable. I hate when my cabs are sold. That's SI third.
All right, we're gonna go down and sign the contract.
All right, Dad. Have a good time. Have fun storming the castle, as they say in The Princess Bride.
Okay, the bunch of stuff on the table. That's the shoes, clothing,
Gotcha.
other stuff.
Yep.
And then, of course, you can't, until I get back, you can't use the car.
Right. Yeah.
And then, maybe later today, when this is all done, we got Ben closes at 6.
Okay. You want to go get the key?
I can run out and get the key.
Okay. Sure. I agree with you, Ron Solo, about that. Michelle Wilson is a shining example of an ENFP. I like her too. I don't necessarily like her media, but I like her. You know, I like her as a human being, and I think she's a good person, and she deserves. And that's more important than whether I like her media anyway. You know. So. Cloud, I feel you, dog. I feel you on that one. There's handy people. There's Heidi Prevey. Yeah, Heidi Prevey's an ENFP too. You're right about that as well. Because show you, ENFPs can write well. You know, they can write really well. No, Naruto is an ESFP. Goku, I have no idea. I haven't watched enough of Dragon Ball. There's just so much misinformation out there.
This was beautiful to read. Those are
What about ESF? It's hard for me to read this because I don't have it on the TV anymore. ESFP adolescent, INFJ father, INTP father's girlfriend. What might that play out? I mean, the INFJ, regardless, is going to be somewhat frustrated by the ESFP. The INTP will also be somewhat frustrated by the ESFP. And how it plays out depends on how much they want to let that turn into conflict, I guess. You're not really going to successfully control the ESFP. I'm not sure how you guide one through adolescence. I really don't know. It seems like quite a challenging undertaking. But you know, I don't know. I was difficult as a teenager too. ENTPs, ESTPs, ESFPs, probably ENFPs as well, are difficult as teenagers. Yeah, Itachi probably is an INFJ now that you mention it. The INFJ in Naruto is the guy who uses, what's his name? Yamoto, who uses the wood, and he's got those scary eyes. You know? He's got the wood jutsus. I think his name's Yamato. Yamato. I'm not sure. Anybody know who I'm talking about? The guy with the eyes. No, I'm not talking about Pain Nagato. I'm talking about Yamato. Well, INFJs aren't necessarily super exciting. Interesting. Yamato was also the name of a very famous battleship, apparently. This guy. Piao and Piao. That guy. He's an INFJ. I forgot that I had that bed video. It was it was gonna premiere. It's probably premiering right now or something. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta go because I gotta get ready to go. Cameron will be here in 15 minutes. So I will say Tsunadi's an ENTP. You know, Tsunadi's an ENTP. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to play cheese. I would suggest Sasuke might be an ISFP.